If you want to crown them, then crown their But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Welcome back to your Valley Sports Plug Live. It is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. I'm your host, Chris Patrick, and monsoon season is officially here. Yes, sir, things are getting wet and wild here in the Valley. But tonight, we are officially at the MLB All Star break with the game currently in progress. The American League up 4-0 on the National League, and the trade deadline is less than 3 weeks away, just 20 days. The Phoenix Suns have made the trade official. Miles Bridges is now a Phoenix Sun, introductory press conference pending. And Budda Baker calls out the Jacoby Brissett contract situation, saying it's not what you think. He just wants the bare minimum. We'll get into all that. But before we do, joining me tonight are my co-hosts, Michael Benjamin and VSP Tallman. What's going on, fellas?
Gentlemen, you can now call me Mr. Haboob. I think I should change it on my title card here, but feeling good, man. Stormy weather. Gotta love it. Monsoon season has officially arrived. It's always a crazy time in the Valley, and the news is still rolling. I love it. Tallman, how's that driver feeling, my brother?
Oh, Mr. Haboob, it's not feeling very good, dude. Definitely poor showing for the boy over the weekend when we played some golf there, but we're gonna work towards being better in the future. That's all you can hope for.
Hey, I mean, it's not every day that you get to play 19 holes. And we invented a new term. You know, you got your mulligan where you get an extra shot. Tallman, what was it that you came up with? I don't want to take credit.
No, it's all good. So it's called the hole again, which means you do so shitty on a hole, you turn around and you go back and you play that same hole over again. So it's everybody gets one. You get a mulligan and then you get a hole again, right? It just makes sense, especially for summer golf here in Arizona. It's like we were the only people out there that were dumb enough to die in the 110-degree weather, but it's always fun. It's nothing a nice cold Coors Light can't help, right?
Oh yeah, or 6 or 7 or 8. But
no, we're responsible here at VSP.
Yeah, just one or two guys, just enough to stay cool. And sometimes you even get a mulligan on the hole again if you're lucky enough, and then sometimes you shoot the exact same score on the hole as you did the first time. Yeah, you could only get away with that during summer golf when it's 105 plus. But nevertheless, always a fun time to get out there with you boys, whether it's 18 or 19 holes or 9 holes. I don't know if I've ever played just 9 holes, to be honest with you, but I know some people do. But fellas, we're not here to talk about our golf game and how treacherous it was this weekend. No, we're here to talk about the top sports stories here in the Valley. So as we said, the MLB All Star game currently underway, 4-0. The Diamondbacks are, I wouldn't say well represented, but they certainly are represented. Eduardo Rodriguez did get to pitch. He threw a 1-2-3 inning. Very clean, very good. VSP Tallman let me know here that Corbin Carroll has had an at-bat, and as you can see here, if you're watching on our YouTube live stream, 0 for 1. Struck out. Was he swinging? He was swinging.
Yeah, you struck out swinging.
Yeah, it's best to go down swinging, honestly. Like, you can't go down looking. You got to go down swinging. I think for me, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't have an all-star starter. They were both reserves, but nevertheless, it's good to have representation in the game. So, Mike, have you been enjoying the all-star festivities?
You know, gentlemen, I've only been enjoying the all-star game. I did not watch the home run derby, and I think they still do the celebrity softball game. Is that still a thing? I don't know. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's always good to have Valley representation in these games, having more than one, because I think MLB still does. Every team has to have at least one. That means you're doing something better than the absolute bare minimum. So this game was cool. I had a couple of my fantasy players start in this game. Christopher Sanchez, He gave up 3 earned runs in the first, kind of like how he's pitched for my fantasy team in the last month and a half. But then the big story, I would say, was Cardinals reliever Riley O'Brien, who also is on my fantasy team, hitting Ray's third baseman Junior Caminero in the hand,
It was
forcing him to leave. From the sounds of it and from what it looked like, yeah, not good. Don't love to see those in all-star games. But like we said, the representation, gotta love it. Eduardo Rodriguez actually is the first guy out in the second inning. No hits, no walks, no strikeouts, just 3 up, 3 down on 8 pitches, 5 for strikes. Beautiful showing from him. And then Corbin Carroll came in, I believe, in the 6th inning, subbed in for Juan Soto. And like we said, he did just recently strike out. But the city of brotherly love has been a great place for Corbin Carroll and Eduardo Rodriguez to represent the Arizona Diamondbacks, who hopefully are gaining some momentum from what they did right before. It's still exciting, gentlemen. It's still exciting.
Well, Mike, if we're bragging about what our fantasy players have done at the All-Star break, I have to say my fantasy player, Jordan Walker, has won the home run derby. So his swing will be officially broken for the rest of the season, and he will not be producing anything for me in the second half.
Did you see his payout, though?
Awesome.
It's like $1 million. It's like $200K more than his contract.
Yeah,
right?
I think he makes like $779,000. So the man got paid. Man, he has to be loving that. That's awesome. Anytime Kyle Schwarber can lose too, I'm talking like I hate Kyle Schwarber. I don't hate him, but anytime the Phillies guys can lose, I'm okay with it.
He got paid that much? It was $1 million? Wow. Yeah. Okay. Wow. You guys didn't watch any of it yesterday.
Not a lick.
I was kind of digging it, man. The final there with Schwarber and Walker, the dude hit 6 straight home runs. 3 of them he hit while he had 1 ball left. So he was facing, losing if he didn't hit a home run. It was incredible. And then you saw, because it's in Philly, like you already mentioned, that place was going nuts for Schwarber. Obviously, it's their hometown player. And then they were booing the shit out of Walker when he went up there. And you could just feel just all the energy just be sucked out of that stadium after he was just homer after homer after homer. And then when he walked it off, that was pretty cool, man. That was, I like that new format that they did where it's a little more slowed down, right? Where it's not like you have this much time, swing as much as you can, because the last one, it was just, they're swinging and swinging. You don't get to watch where the ball landed, where this one, it just made more sense. And everyone was complaining like, oh, it's going to drag on forever. It's going to be 4 hours long. Dude, they were efficient with it. Very efficient. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have the same rules next year.
That's interesting because I think we were talking about it last week, either on stream or off. And I was like skeptical. It seemed like it was going to be fewer chances to see home runs, but that makes sense what you said there about if it's slowed down, you can actually see where the ball lands, because otherwise it's just a camera fixed on the guy hitting the whole time. And like some of those guys were like, no, just keep it going. As soon as I can bring this back over my shoulder, throw me another one. So I could see that argument there. But yeah, obviously having not watched it, I obviously don't know, but I saw that he won and he's doing pretty good. Like dude's exploding on the scene this year, 10th in the league in home runs with 22, tied with Shohei Ohtani, has the same amount of homers as Shohei Ohtani does. So props to the young man. I mean, I think he's got to be in for a big payday. I don't know what his contract situation looks like, but if you're hitting 22 home runs, 74 RBIs, is that the most in the is that the most in the entire majors? Quick research suggests it is 4 more than the next closest person in Yordan Alvarez. So I didn't even draft the kid. This is like every year in fantasy baseball, you can find a diamond in the rough if you watch the waiver wire correctly. So this has been my good pickup so far through the year, but just lost, I think 0-8 to Greg. So it's looking like Greg is the team to beat. Mike and Greg are up top. So
I was up 8-2 going into the weekend, and then I ended up splitting. I lost all of the offensive categories to freaking Mr. T Jr. That was what I needed. I thought you and Chris, you were up to start the week. You were up like 8-2.
I was, yeah.
Yikes. Thanks a lot for nothing, man. You got to be kidding me.
I'm just hoping for a good second half, Mike. I already decided, like, it's been one of those seasons where I like give guys, I'm like a Torey Lovello manager this year. I'm giving guys a long leash. I'm keeping the Pavin Smiths on my team too long. So I think I'm going to have to cut the cord soon enough. But let's talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Ooh, Diamondbacks. No, they finally cut the cord with Pavin Smith. Some other things happened. He who shall not be named, Zach Gallen, is on the IL with a phantom injury. I mean, with a totally legitimate injury. And so some of the young guys, we called up a guy, didn't do so hot. What was his name, Tallman? It was like
Mitch Bratt.
So I wasn't even close. But yeah, they head into the All-Star break. Obviously, I think on a high. Honestly, we had a very, very good weekend leading into the break with a sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the first sweep of the Dodgers in LA since 2017. When I read that, I honestly believed it, and I'm really glad that it happened, and it was crucial. But Tallman, you texted us something interesting after that series. You said that it kind of sheds a whole new light on the Cardinal series that we just had coming a little while back. What is your reaction to the sweep and what it means going forward into the second half of the season?
Oh, it's beautiful, guys. I mean, a week ago from tonight, we were shoveling dirt on their grave, right? I mean, I totally lost all optimism with this baseball team because that's the way they're playing, that you couldn't help but feel that way, as a fan watching them play. There was just no energy, there was no passion. And I don't know if someone came into that clubhouse and said, look, guys, y'all about to get traded out of sunny Arizona. Torey Lovell's about to get his ass fired if you don't figure it out. And just insane how, like, if the Dodgers would have swept the Dbacks, we would have a whole different view on what's happening here. We'd be sellers, and everybody would be coming out and getting to the highest peak and yelling that this team's selling. There's no doubt about it. But to be able to salvage with the Padres, split that series, because after that first game with the Padres, we beat them 8-0. I mean, it looked like we waxed their ass. And then the next two games, it was like we weren't even competitive. And I was like, here we go. We're gonna lose this series 3-1 to the Padres, and then we're gonna go to LA and just get absolutely smashed. And the complete opposite happened. We won that fourth game with the Padres, which was huge, very big. And then you go in. It did help though the Friday game, the first game of the Dodgers series, that Ohtani was scratched, because he's gonna win MVP again. We know it. He's one of the best pitchers in the league. He's obviously one of the best hitters. But him getting scratched as a starting pitcher was great. The next game we whooped up Yamamoto. I mean, the guy only gave up like 1 or 2 home runs the entire year, and he gave up 2 home runs in that one game to the D-backs. So everyone's coming out and saying, oh, the Dodgers, they were already on break mode. They were, just limping into the break. So they weren't playing their best baseball. Screw that. I'm not saying that. You don't go to LA and sweep that team. You don't. Not with that payroll, not with the superstar power. I mean, that's a huge win for this baseball team. It is absolutely a tone setter. So what you got to hope for is that they keep this going. And I think a big part of it was finally realizing Pavin Smith is not that dude, and it was time for him to go. He gets DFA'd. He's gone. See you later, buddy. I don't give a shit anymore. The Zach Gallen, that's big, because I'm there. No one's ever going to come out and say it, but we all know it's a phantom injury. What was it? Elbow inflammation. I mean, that's like the go-to. Hey, it just hurts a little bit. All right, go to the 10-day, figure it out. Maybe it's work on your mental, work on your mechanics. I would imagine they'll probably give him another shot. There's people calling that he's never going to pitch another game for the D-backs. But it all depends on what this team does right here, right now, going into this weekend. That you mentioned it coming in as you transferred to me, Chris. This Cardinal series is huge. This is a team we just played a couple weeks ago, and they whooped us up a little bit. They're ahead of us in that wild card race. And then right after that, we have the Athletics, who have fallen off a bit. But we're going to the Nationals, another team that's ahead of us in the wild card race that beat us up a little bit. Then you have the Pirates. The Pirates are ahead of us, and they're also a team that beat us up. So how these series are set up, it's almost picture perfect for us to make it or break it right here in the remaining days of July, because we're playing all these teams. If we can come out on the winning side of this, we're golden. I have a solid feeling that we're staring at a wild card spot, and it's going to be tough for us to fuck it up. Obviously, anything can happen here, but this is great. This Cardinal series, though, it's so big. It's so big, But I think after this series, if we can win 2 out of 3, then come next week. Well, you guys are doing PTO on the next stream, but next week we're legitimately talking about this team is preparing to buy, and we can just speculate on what kind of changes are coming.
Yeah, it's huge. And for some reason I had in my mind that it was you were referencing the past Cardinals series from earlier in the season, but you're talking about the one coming up. And what's interesting is there was the whole Paul Sewald thing where with the rain, canceled game where he said they should have moved it up, caused a little bit of a stir. But you see here on the schedule, that makeup game is also next week, next Thursday. So we got to play the Cardinals 4 times over the next week and a quarter. And it's going to be huge. I think the Pirates have been good, but they're certainly beatable. Same with the Nationals. So I do like our chances if we can pick up where we left off leading into the break. But Mike, going back to the Dodgers series a little bit, one of the big stories from that series was with Pavin Smith out, Tim Tawa stepping into the first base slot. And in those 3 games in LA, he was batting .538 with 7 hits on 13 attempts, hit 2 home runs for 7 RBIs, and had 3 runs scored. Do you think that he's firmly cemented that job, or do you expect it to still be kind of a revolving door while they try and find their footing there?
Well, he has firmly cemented it for the next 2 weeks because, like you guys stated, with the MLB trade deadline being pushed back than the normal time frame, I think this year is actually August 3rd. These key series, the first 3 out, you got to have the guys that are contributing right here, right now. And we know over the past couple of years, Tim Tawa has been that guy who comes up, shows some really nice flashes, but then just doesn't, I think, mix with the time frame that Torrey and Mike Hazen are trying to put this ball club together on. That time frame has kind of been thrown out the window, obviously, as we've seen multiple injuries once again, not only to the starting rotation, but to mainstay guys like you were hopeful for with Jordan Lawler. As an outfielder, Tim Tawa is still really can be put at any position, man. He is the Swiss Army knife that this team needs right now. And for him to show out in such a big series going into the break where everything changed in regard to the mentality of where this team is. We know the ebbs and flows of baseball, especially as you get closer towards the trade deadline. Somebody who does that for your team on the road for the first time to sweep the Los Angeles Dodgers since 2017, you got to put him on the diamond every single day and see if you can continue to kind of capitalize and ride the positivity wave that is Tim Tawa right now. I know we have some other guys, especially from that Dodgers series, that were huge contributors, and it's not the namesay guys. You know, Gabby Moreno has been truly balling from the catcher's position this year. You know, Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte are your namestays alongside with Geraldo Perdomo. But when those 5 through 9 hitters are doing what they did in Los Angeles, and you hope that they can continue to capitalize on that momentum, you hopefully find yourself being buyers here shortly, adding in some extra pieces, because you know those mainstay guys figure it out. They always are going to figure it out. So props to Tim Tawa, man. Props to Tim Tawa.
Yeah, what is he? An Oregon high school football legend? Something like that?
Player of the year, I think, for the state or something.
Straight out of West Lynn, Oregon.
Yeah, he was like the Gatorade quarterback of the year or something.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, he was Gatorade athlete of the year or something.
It's crazy, but that's so, I don't want to say it's common, but like athletes are athletes, man. And like clearly he was probably a 3-sport athlete. I'm guessing he played basketball too and is probably pretty good at basketball too. I mean, Mike's a 3-sport athlete, maybe a 4-sport athlete. I don't even know. But yeah, I mean, so we'll see what Tim Tawa can do, but there is some help on the way as well. We're not getting the big guns off the IL, but some of our medium-sized guns might be coming off the IL shortly after the break, with Tommy Troy coming back. I know that was kind of like a minor thing. I don't think he actually ever officially went on the injury list, more of like a day-to-day thing, but it sounds like he'll be healthy and coming back. Jordan Lawler is expected back the beginning of August. And the big one, I think, in as far as it pertains to some Zach Gallen implications, is Mike Soroka. If he comes back and is healthy and is continuing the production he had when he left off, you get some of these other guys, if they start performing as well, then there is a strong case to be made for, if you can't find a trade partner, to just get something back for Zach Gallen, to just DFA him outright. I know a lot of people are calling for that. Ryan Nelson as well. It looks like, is that him expected back? Am I reading this report here correctly?
He was put on the 60-day on June 16th.
Oh, okay. So he's done.
Closest is mid-August for him. But Soroka, hopefully within his first or second series, hopefully he's back.
Yeah. So, I mean, fingers crossed, honestly, for that. But Tallman, when it comes to the pitching staff, how optimistic are you for like the Mitch Bratts and Michael Soroka to continue his production, and some of the other guys we've seen fill that void? How confident are you that they'll be able to produce at a high enough level to where we don't need to roll Zach Gallen out there again?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. Obviously with the Soroka injury, you hope that he comes back and he can pick up where he left off. The main reason why I'm feeling pretty good about it is just what Brandon Pfaadt has shown us since he's come up after he was sent back down to the minors. I mean, he's been great. He's been the pitcher that he was in 2023. So Soroka, Pfaadt, Merrill Kelly showed us some good stuff the last time out. Obviously Erod, everyone knows Erod's going to steal Kelly's name. He's mainstay Rodriguez now, right? That dude, he's been incredible, and he's well deserved that he got that honor tonight to do. And then he got to show everybody too what he's done all season for the Dbacks. And what's great about this too, about us not being swept by the Dodgers, is we don't have to sit here tonight and talk about, are they going to trade Erod away at the deadline? Because that'd be, you would sell him high, because this is the best he's ever done. So it's great that we don't have to sit here and have that conversation. And we can expect him to start for this team for the next couple months here to finish up the season. But I'm feeling good about it. With the young guys, I know they sent Jose Cabrera down. They brought up Mitch Bratt. I believe that was Bratt's second start, because I think they brought him up earlier. I could be wrong on that, but obviously it wasn't great. But it's showing us that, this staff is, they're playing the cards that they have, right? And it's not just rolling out Zach Gallen every fifth day. So that's promising in its own. Even if Mitch Bratt is going to come out, I envision they probably give him one more time, or I don't know who else I forgot about the other young guy. But I'm okay with these young guys getting a shot here, because honestly, you're looking to see if we can catch lightning in a bottle here. And you're not, like I said already, just doing the same thing over and over again with Zach Gallen. And because we just can't win baseball games when he starts. It's obvious. It's evident. It's been proven. We don't have to go back to the chalkboard with that dude. But mainly with the young guy in that rotation spot, it's like, I'm feeling really good about this bullpen, man. It's like these guys have been showing out, and it's like with Ginkel and Thompson recently, it's like they've shown the pitchers that we know they can be. I mean, same thing with Paul Sewald, man. And like we scoffed at him getting signed back at the beginning of the season, but how many saves is he at now? Like 21. I mean, there was people talking about him being on the All-Star team, which I thought was crazy, but I mean, he's actually been that good. Even some of his saves have been pretty ugly, but it's like, you got strong pieces in that bullpen. The left-hander, Brandon Garcia, Taylor Clark. I mean, these guys, I feel good about if the young kids can only go 3, 4, 5 innings, in a situation where you hope your offense puts up some points so you can be in a situation where you can win the game, but you're handing it over to the bullpen where you got some good arms in there too. Same thing with that. Like, man, if we were selling, dude, they would have gutted the shit out of that. Somehow, some way, we have gotten to the point where we actually have a good bullpen, and it's crazy. So I'm so bipolar of a fan, dude. I was bitching and moaning last week. But I like this attitude that we showed in LA, and then just the production that bullpen had. So I'm feeling good about pitching, especially with Soroka. You mentioned some of the guys coming back. We also have Justin Martinez coming back sometime in August. So that'll be a discussion for another day of how does he fit in on that group of your A bullpen guys. It's only going to help. So I'm feeling good, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's every reason to. And you mentioned it's great getting Justin Martinez back, but don't forget AJ Puck is still down in Reno on his rehab assignment, had a little bit of a setback, but we're about a week away from him being reevaluated and possibly getting warmed up to a point where he could return. And that would be huge because we've said this before, but we thought that pitching would be the issue this season. The bats would carry and the pitching would struggle. And it's kind of flipped on its head. And it's funny how that works. But if these bats can continue the way they have, I'm fully confident that they can lock in. It's like you hear it in basketball a lot that, basketball is a game of runs, but really the MLB season is like a season of runs. Like teams are going to get hot, teams are going to get cold. Not every team can sustain and win 105 games a year. And we're never going to see a MLB team win 162. So it's like, you got to take the good with the bad, and you got to hope that, guys can get hot and perform. So I like what I'm seeing, but I'm going to be, what do we say on here? Cautiously optimistic, Mr.
There
Benjamin.
he is. There he is.
How would you say, where would you say your optimism levels are at, Mike? Are you ready to attend another game yet? Or are you going to, reserve the right to wait and see?
I will always reserve my right to wait and see. Overall, there is optimism, I think, especially for you to go into that series. Those are just game-changing kind of moments throughout a season, man. My hope, obviously, is that these guys kind of bottled that feeling and take it throughout, this time off. Because the other thing that's going to be really hard for this team now, because that fourth game in St. Louis was scrapped and had to be put in between when we go out to Washington, is they're not going to have any days off for about 2 weeks. So mental toughness is really going to take a toll on some of these guys. So it's perfect that they did have the All-Star break right now. They get a couple of days off, but you got to get the systems rolling right off the bat and very quickly if you really want to get me to the point of true optimism. But until then, I'm in your camp, Chris. We're going to be cautious with it.
Yeah, and I totally agree, because one thing that's scary is if you look at the wild card race and the standings, is it's like an eight team race right now with potentially a ninth team in the Reds knocking on the door, although they're a little bit further back. But with so much time left in the season, really anything is possible. I mean, I think I expect that field will, sort itself out to some extent, but that's why we've said, and like why I was pounding the desk last season, that every game counts and we can't be playing this game of, oh, it's still early in the season, it's okay if we have a slow start, because this was the exact same place we were at last season. Like we've basically said this. We were right around 500 going into the All-Star break last season, ended up being sellers at the deadline, made a miraculous push and still missed the playoffs. So I just hope that this team has learned from their past that you really can't take any days off. And someone gets that memo to Ketel Marte. I kid. He hasn't had that many days off, but we need all hands on deck here. And I really hope they can make a push, but it's the summer, man. Plenty more time to talk about the D-backs. They will most definitely be a hot topic of conversation throughout the rest of July and into August and September. But gentlemen, we got a couple more stories on the docket for you. A couple other Valley teams to get to, and one particularly the Phoenix Suns. The transactions that were announced weeks ago have finally been made official. For a second there, I was holding out that the Miles Bridges trade might fall through and we might not have to see him suit up, but it's official. The graphics are out. The paperwork's been filed. And Miles Bridges will be a Phoenix Sun. You see the tweet up here per PHNX Sports. Suns GM Brian Gregory on the newest Sun. Miles has established himself as a highly productive player whose game continues to evolve. His elite athleticism, strength, and versatility allow him to impact the game on both ends. We're excited to welcome him to the Phoenix Suns and hope that he checks in with his parole officer regularly to avoid any future incidents. Okay, so that last part's
that's
not
cold. That's cold.
But I mean, guys, come on, Mike. It was just in the news this last weekend that he had another incident with his baby mama. Like, what are we doing?
I got the juice for you guys. Let me break it down a little bit. But first, let's just talk about Miles Bridges, the basketball player, because we know that this is a polarizing situation within the Valley, especially for Phoenix Suns fans right now. But Bleacher Report, there was an article about 2 days ago from Grant Hughes that was very intriguing, where he listed the Phoenix Suns in his 5 teams that definitely got worse during the 2026 NBA offseason, and it was all predicated based off of the move for Miles Bridges. The negatives come from his career three-point shooting, which is about 33.8%. His net negative on the defensive end, paired with his offensive game that has seen him produce true shooting percentages below the league average. And being a running mate alongside LaMelo Ball, who is kind of notoriously one of the better point guards in regard to establishing opportunities for the guys around him, he only shot 46% from twos, and his attempts at the rim have declined the past 5 years. So they're basically stating his athleticism isn't where it has been. Obviously, I mean, he's going to be 28 years old. So yeah, Father Time is undefeated, but the big issues that Hughes was talking about is basically he believes it's a mistake because of the major lost draft capital that they had from the 2033 first round unprotected pick. Bridges kind of being thought of as a fringe starter, and the thought process of the Suns having to sign him to a hefty extension, which is going to constrict overall on the basketball side of things from offensive spacing. We've been pining for a point guard, and it sounds like, once again, we're still going to have to get Devin Booker in the mix as point book. What does that mean? I don't know. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about the X's and O's, Chris, especially for PTO. So I won't bore Tallman with it anymore. Let's talk about why this is really polarizing. When this was announced, I think it was yesterday, right? Officially, the social media, the comments in the posts all over are intriguing. It really shows you there's a split right now. I saw more so on Instagram, the split. People were welcoming him, calling him by his rap name. You guys know that he's a rapper, right? Have you ever seen his little freestyle thing? RTB. And then Hornets fans were showing appreciation, but I have to read off some of these comments. Let's start with the negatives here. Welcome to the Valley, wife beater. Shame on y'all. This was a horrible mistake. Literally just a tomato emoji. I saw that a lot. Nice acquisition. Should be great for the culture and identity of the team. Pass. We don't fuck with domestic abusers. Hide your wives, everybody. The domestic abuser is here. Screw that. You are not welcome in the Valley. Comments go to show you that men will excuse domestic violence against women and children if they think a player will help their team win games. It's just bad. And the positivity, either than welcome to the Valley, is more so still based around these domestic situations where it's all right, let's just hoop. You don't have to buy his jersey, or his personal issues ain't my business. Welcome to the squad, my boy. And then people just basically saying, wild how uninformed all these people hating on Miles are. Know the facts before spitting opinions you can't take back. I think if you guys will do some studying, there's two sides to every story, and the latest story proves that it's not all his fault. So let's just welcome him to the Valley and quit spreading rumors. Do your homework. But we know the track record goes back to 2022 with these kind of situations. And the recent news story, Chris, that you talked about from last Friday is where he accused his baby mama, Michelle Johnson, of assault and battery, claiming she threw water on Miles during a custody exchange. But come to see that she has now filed her own criminal charges against Bridges, stating the reason she threw the water was because Miles tried to run her over with a golf cart during the exchange of their child. It's hard to just talk about basketball when this is the narrative that goes along with bringing somebody like this to the Valley with the culture that you are being brought into. I am getting very worried that this is all just, once again, a Michigan State narrative, thinking that Matt Ishbia and Brian Gregory are going to save this kid because of their past relationships. Guess what, guys? people change. And unfortunately, the track record of Miles Bridges as a person is a net negative, like his defensive performances over the past couple of years. My birthday is on Tuesday, the 21st, gentlemen. The press conference is on July 21st. This is the greatest birthday present that I have ever received. I cannot wait to hear what the Phoenix Suns brass has to say about this. I can't even really dive into if this truly makes the Phoenix Suns better or not. We talked about it a little bit. On PTO, the last one that we did chat about. We're going to have all summer to go with it. But right now, right here, right now, this is what is staring the Phoenix Suns in front of us. And until it is addressed, i.e. by this press conference, these are truly the only conversations that fans should be having about Miles Bridges right now.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Mike. I think it's very telling that they're waiting a full week plus to do this introductory press conference, especially given that the trade was announced a long time ago. I mean, there could be other logistical reasons for it, but I have to believe that it's largely in part because they're hiring a PR firm to see how they can spin this. They're practicing their talking points and getting all on this. It's kind of like when maybe bad example. It's like when a crime is committed and there's a conspiracy and everybody gets together and it's like, we got to get our story straight. I've never done that, but you see it in the movies. Everyone comes together. They're like, we got to get our story straight. So when we're being interrogated, we're all, telling the same story. That's almost what it seems like with this team and with what the Suns are doing. Now, I don't want to keep rehashing the same points. If you want to go see how I really felt, my initial gut reaction is like, I'm vehemently against this trade. I don't think what Miles Bridges does on the court outweighs what he's done off the court. And I don't even know if there is a scenario where that would be the case in my mind's eye. Because regardless, I mean, I have no doubt that he and the mother of his child, I don't doubt that neither of them are perfect angels. I'm sure she's had her pitfalls, but regardless, like as a man, you just don't do that. You remove yourself from the situation, especially when you're a 6'7", 225+ pound man. Like this is not like a small guy by any means. Like you always in life have the option to walk away. Regardless, I do want to speak on, Mike, what you brought up in that article where it said the Suns were the 5th on his list of teams that got worse. A part of that, if I'm not mistaken, was also him citing the lack of 3-point shooting, or what we lost in 3-point shooting with trading Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. However, it fails to acknowledge that we also got Luke Kennard in the offseason to kind of fill in that void. And he has one of the best 3-point shooters over the last few seasons. I think when we were talking about it, we said something like 47% 3-point shooting, which is incredible. But Tallman, before we move on too far and get into Luke Kennard and others, to Miles Bridges, we haven't heard your opinion on it yet. So I just want to know overall what your thoughts are, and if you think it's appropriate for people, or if you are able to separate the personal from the professional in cases like this.
Yeah, what a mess. I totally agree with you guys. I mean, one of the biggest things with Jordan Ott coming in was building that culture. So he's obviously does not fit what they're trying to do here, and it screams that Michigan State shit all over again. And Mike, you nailed it. People change. They knew him. How long ago did he play there? I mean, this is insane. But it's obvious what it is. They have familiarity with the player. I feel like they gave up a lot too. I mean, when are we ever going to have control of any of these first round picks? I mean, it's just insane. And you're right. You don't give up that unprotected first and not re-sign the guy and let him walk. So now you're talking about another big contract on the books for this team, and just the character aspect of it. I mean, yeah, obviously it's very clear that this is a very toxic relationship, and the court needs to step in and say, you guys just never need to talk ever again. Cause both these people have problems. Right. But for him to go to the extent that he did, I mean, I don't condone that shit at all. I mean, us three here together in a room, I mean, we're in long-term relationships with women that we love, and that's not anything any of us would ever support. So as a person, it's total shit. Am I one to maybe sometimes be like, all right, well, we're talking about sports, and are there times where you need to separate, the player from the person? Yeah. I mean, do people deserve second chances? Absolutely, man. And did the Hornets give him a second chance? Yes, they did. Are the Suns continuing to give him a second chance with this trade, bringing him in? They are, right? So I know you said, Mike, people do change, but also, sometimes people can change for the better, right? So he's had somewhat of a clean record until what came out this last weekend, as in a sense of, making, story headlines. So I don't know. I don't like the dude as a person. As a fan, should we wait and see? I mean, he fits somewhat what we need at some size at the 4 position. I don't know who in the starting 5 is going to play defense. I don't know if you guys know, if you can enlighten me on that. I don't think he really helps in that case, but I don't know. It's one of those touchy subjects here where and I totally understand the public's, the public Suns fan view on this, where it's going to be hard to support somebody like that coming in. And how do you not just anticipate this being a locker room distraction? I mean, it's hard not to believe that something else is not going to come up, right? And he's just going to be squeaky clean forever, and it doesn't create some type of rift in that locker room.
It's just hard to believe that we're not taking advantage of the goodwill that this team bought from night in, night out hustle. And I'm not saying that Miles isn't going to be that kind of person. It just seems like we're a 1 step forward, 1 step back, or sometimes maybe 2 steps back franchise right now under the helm of Matt Ishbia. Riddle me this, guys. If Miles Bridges went to Georgia Tech, do you think that this would be the kind of character player that the Phoenix Suns would want to bring into this situation? This is clearly just all about basketball fit from this move right now. He's a 6'8" barely power forward. Yeah, he plays above his size, but like we said, he needs to touch the ball. He's an empty stats player. Like, I don't know how, unless his mentality has changed, and maybe it did, because you did see the success that the Charlotte Hornets just had this past year, but then it continues to bring up other narratives. Why do you think the Charlotte Hornets were so quick and easy to get off of both LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges after their best season that they've had in a decade? There's more unanswered questions than answers right now. I really don't know how this is going to work from a basketball fit, especially if they're not going to move either Dillon Brooks or Jalen Green for a long-term situation. And we know that they talked about this is more than a situation that he's going to probably be re-signed for a longer tenure here. That's probably 3 to 5 year contract if you think about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they'd hand it to him because of his ties to Michigan State and because Brian Gregory was literally at Michigan State when Miles Bridges was there coaching him. So it's a different relationship that really it's above just the surface level things that us fans can see. This is why they made the move. Not only do they feel like it's a fit, but it's their personal relationship that they have with him and how they feel like they've seen him turn the page into a different person. But there was this incident happened less than a week ago, guys. Come on, man. Like, that's why it's so hard to have these conversations about, well, has you give second chances, you want people to change. It literally has been less than a week. More shit has happened. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe I just am going to have a hard time sitting there stomaching most of the gibberish that the Suns brass is going to be peddling in front of us about how this is the proper culture fit for this team. It just truly doesn't make sense at this point. Now that more time has passed, I'm with Chris more and more every day. I don't know how this is going to work, man.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like, I'm not to say that like eventually we're going to have to move on, but at a certain point, like this is only the second time we're talking about this trade on a live stream, but at a certain point, like we can't keep always bringing up the character stuff. We're going to have to talk about the product on the court. And if we're going to talk about that, like it's also a lot of question marks because he, you know, for a guy that's like, oh, he's athletic, he can attack the rim. His finishing at the rim was down last year from earlier in his career. And for some reason I had it in my mind that Miles Bridges was like a younger guy, but he's been in the league for 8 years now. He's less than 2 years younger than Devin Booker, who's coming up on his 12th season. So you're not getting any younger with this deal. You're not saving any money with this deal, and you're bringing a whole lot of bad press. And Mike, it's fair to bring up the Michigan State ties and the Michigan ties. And those are questions that are going to be asked in this press conference. And I already know that Brian Gregory and Jordan Ott or whoever else are going to look the press dead in the eye and tell them that it wasn't a factor at all, that they like his game, they like his athleticism and think it's a good fit. And they had a good conversation with him. And it's like, and that's why I think they're pushing it and hiring the PR firm, because then this story comes out and kind of blows up everything they were working on with what they were going to present to the press. Well, now it's like, well, we got to get all the facts. So I don't know. It's just optically terrible. Basketball fit, it's not great. We're still paying Bradley Beal, so now you're going to add another big contract to that. Devin Booker has not had a good season in 3 or 4 years, and he's found the most success in his career when he's able to play alongside a true point guard, namely Ricky Rubio and then Chris Paul. And that need has not been addressed. Yeah, Colin Gillespie is great. I love Colin Gillespie, but he's not your starting point guard that's going to elevate Devin Booker. Maybe that guy isn't out. Maybe there isn't, but we at least need a serviceable point guard that Devin Booker can go back to playing the 2 guard, spot up shoot. Maybe his 3-point shooting will come back a little bit, and don't waste his prime, guys. Like Devin Booker's going to be 30. You might get 4 or 5 more good seasons out of him. Not to say that he can't play into his late 30s like Steph Curry. You never know. I mean, I don't think he's going to be LeBron James and be here till he's 45, but like, you never know. I mean, but you got to take advantage of his prime. And this is not how you do it, in my opinion, by just adding guys that don't play defense, who are on a declining slope in their career. And more than anything, the character issues that come with it. I'm disgusted, quite frankly, and I really am not looking forward to having to talk about this team too much.
We got to move on, but the last thing I need to say here is all I want to do, especially in the summer, right now, as it's going on, is talk about Summer League. I want to talk about how Kaman Malawach has been an absolute beast in the 2 games, averaging over 15 points and 15 rebounds. I want to talk about Koa Pete showing some flashy finishes, getting above the rim, turnaround jumpers, looking crispy. I want to talk about what is the actual possibilities of Rasheer Fleming getting 15 plus minutes a night. And it has been hijacked by a move that, honestly, guys, barely moves the needle if this team is chasing higher seeds than the 6th seed this year. Like I said, the last point I will say as well, and we talked about it, it was time for Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen to go. The limitations were there, especially with Grayson Allen, his injuries that he's had over the past couple of seasons. You had to capitalize and bring somebody in. Overall, is Miles Bridges a better player than both of those guys? I think so, absolutely. And he's younger. He has a different athletic style. He's different from where those guys were, right? And you can play bigger. But when the off the court narratives are so much louder than anything that comes on the actual X's and O's, I already got the Arizona Cardinals to worry about all of that nonsense, dude. I don't want it all in all of my teams. I don't want it, but that's the last piece I have to say on that, Chris. Before we say anything we don't want to savor, I think we should move on, my brother.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely on board with that. The last thing I will add is that I had to get a laugh in. I saw someone say that the Suns front office is so incompetent. They saw M. Bridges was available and they did the trade thinking it was Mikal, but we got Miles instead. Yeah, Mike, I agree. It'd be great to talk about Summer League. It sounds like that team's been fun. Is Rasheer Fleming going to be the next Kawhi Leonard? I think that's far-fetched, but some people have high hopes. But yeah, going to be plenty of opportunity to continue to talk about this Suns team on future streams, especially past the outlet coming up later this month. But gentlemen, yes, Mike, you are right. We must move on to another dumpster fire in your Arizona Cardinals. Yes, they will be starting training camp in, I think, just a week or so with that not All-Star game, the Hall of Fame game coming up the beginning of August here. So we got some news, though. A couple stories, one positive, one a little negative, made me roll my eyes a little bit. So Tallman, I'll ask you, do you want to start off with the positive feel-good story or the eye-rolling kind of cringe story?
The cringe story. We like pain here in Arizona.
Oh, yeah, I like the way you think. And that story, for my money, is Budda Baker going on the social medias to throw his 2 cents in. I get it. He is the defensive captain. He's one of the leaders, one of the loudest voices in the locker room, and loves to support his guys. But Tallman, you were asking me, isn't it in kind of an unwritten rule to get involved in your teammates' contract situations? And I think there's some nuance there. You know, we'll get into that, but I got to get to the tweet first. And it was Budda Baker going on X or Twitter, and he said, "Just want bro to get this shit done. He is not asking for what you think. Bro is asking for below the bare minimum. Let's just get it done." Okay. So, Budda, could you be more specific? I know you can't, but when you say he's just asking for the bare minimum, what you believe is the bare minimum might be different from what other people think. Now, I'm tending to lean more towards the player side on this one, only because of my negative view of Michael Bidwill in the front office and how frugal they're known to be. And coming off the heels of that story where they lowballed Trey McBride before ultimately getting the deal done that made him the highest paid tight end for 5 minutes. But again, what is it? Is he asking for just a little bit of a raise to like 8 to 10 million, 12 million? Does he want 15 to 20 million? Like, we still have no idea what Jacoby Brissett is wanting to get done. Oh yeah, I guess I should lead with that. This is all in reference to the Jacoby Brissett contract situation. It has yet to be resolved. We know nothing. Jacoby Brissett has no agent. He's his own agent. So there's nobody putting out stories, leaking information. Cardinals always play this stuff close to the vest, and we never know anything. That's something we've talked about. But what does he want? And I mean, from the perspective of us, I guess I won't speak for you guys, but for a lot of fans, it's what is the bare minimum deserved for a person who only won a single game for us last year? What is the bare minimum for someone who apparently doesn't really move the needle, put up some flashy numbers in blowouts, but other than that, what are we playing for this year? We've said it before. Are we trying to win 7 games this year and miss the playoffs, or are we trying to make the playoffs? Like, what are the goals here? And do you genuinely think Jacoby Brissett moves the needle to make us a playoff team this season? Or do we want to develop these young guys, maybe get another higher draft pick and really go for it next season once you know what you have in a Carson Beck, or deciding if you want to draft? Because if you do want to draft a quarterback in this next draft, you want a higher pick. That's all speculation. But Tallman, let's rope you in here. What do you think Budda means when he asks that it's not what you think and he just wants the bare minimum?
So I think he's referring to, it's not what you think. He doesn't want $30 million a year, whatever Malik Willis got down there in South Florida. But I hate this cryptic shit, dude. It's ridiculous, because one of the key phrases you said there in that transition, Chris, was we know nothing because we don't know anything. This was the first kind of look into this situation that's occurring right now. We have no idea what he's asking for. I can't see how in his right mind he'd be asking or holding out because he wants $30 million. Because, I mean, like you said, he won 1 football game. He does not move the needle. This team is not trying to win this year, and it's evident with the moves they made at quarterback. It's a quarterback league. You need a quarterback that's serviceable in order to win enough games to make the playoffs. Look at our division. We're doomed from the get-go. Like, we have no chance. And you know what's funny today? I was listening to the radio and they're talking about Myles Garrett on the Rams. I said, oh, fuck, I totally forgot about that. I literally put that so far in the back of my head that I was like, oh, I forgot that they have Myles Garrett. That's insane. Granted, you only play them twice, but it's like this division is impossible for how this team is currently constructed. Could you argue, well, maybe, you know, the injection of Jeremiah Love in this offense, maybe a stride from Marvin Harrison. Oh my God, Michael Wilson established himself as a true, you know, NFL caliber starting receiver, and that hurts my soul to say that. But he deserves his flowers where they're due. So could you argue that, you know, hey, maybe just pay him? Let's start. Because everybody knows, Jacoby knows this. He's not starting every single game for this team. You don't go that high on Carson Beck in the draft and not allow him some type of runway here this season, especially when the guy ahead of him is a career backup. I mean, so the argument is just, I mean, you got the $30 million in cap space, you know, just throw him the 12 to 15 million, whatever he wants, just to make him happy, just to make the locker room happy too, because I mean, you got Budda Baker as one of your captains. He's going to bat for Jacoby. Jacoby was just in Florida training with a lot of the dudes too, with Harrison, Trey McBride, a couple other guys. So he's got a grasp on this team, right? So it's a sticky situation because you don't want to come in from a front office standpoint and just say, nope, not paying you. You're either playing for the $5 million or you're getting out of town. And then you're setting a shitty tone going into a long, brutal, gruesome NFL season, right? That's not how you want to do it. So there's part of me that's like, and I've said this before, just pay him because it's not coming out of my pocket. It's not coming out of y'all's pocket. And I have that same feeling towards Bidwell. It's like, you greedy motherfucker. God, I just cursed too much. Just pay the guy. What else are you going to spend it on? More casitas? Now I sound like Chris. But then there's another part of me too, where it's like, where's the leverage that he has in this situation? He doesn't have any leverage. He won one football game. Yeah, he put up decent numbers, but it's like, he showed everyone what Michael Wilson can do. He also showed that Trey McBride actually can get open in the end zone because he's tall enough to see, unlike Kyler Murray. But it's like you're not the starter of this football team long term, and like you're not starting more than 6 or 7 games. So to me, it feels like if you pay him the $15 million, you're basically just lighting $15 million on fire. But where would that $15 million go if it doesn't go in Jacoby's pocket? It goes in Michael Bidwell's pocket. So it's one of those situations where it's like, I'm sick of the headache here, even though I don't know what the headache's about because we don't know anything. But it's like, just get it over with so that we can focus on the season, because the last thing we need is any distractions on this team. But I'm so back and forth here. You can see where I'm at. I don't want to pick a side. I don't. But I mean, there's valid reasons to pick each side, right? Don't pay him because we want to see the young guys. Maybe what does Gardner Minshew do? Pay him so you don't piss off all the captains on your team, and just get it behind you, because you got to spend it somewhere. And if, you know, because you have the cap space. So it's funny that we're still talking about this so close to training camp.
And that's a great point that you really just got the gears turning, Tallman, is like, that money is like, it's, if you don't use it, I guess you don't lose it necessarily, but it's not like the cap space carries over to next season or anything like that. And yeah, I would say Jacoby Brissett's not worth $15 million, but you think of it as you're not paying Jacoby Brissett for his quarterback services. You're paying for the goodwill of the teammates, the optics of, hey, we take care of our guys. Like, hey, he stepped in and did decently. Although again, he only won a single game. There were other reasons for that. It's not just Jacoby Brissett's fault, but looked a lot better through the games he played than Kyler Murray had looked up into that Titans game. But Tallman, it's funny you mentioned that, because I think I heard that Michael Bidwell, not more casitas, he wants to take out the other end zone and build a whole Casa Bonita just right there in the other end zone. I'm totally joking.
An absolute Colorado staple. I might be okay with that, guys.
Is there going to be a waterfall and cliff divers?
Oh, gotta be. There's gotta be.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I support that.
Okay, good. Okay, well then maybe we can petition and make it happen. Don't give Michael Bidwell any good ideas, guys. Come on. But Mr. Haboob, We need to know what you think about this storm that's brewing in Glendale.
Guys, I hate this so much. I can't believe we're still talking about Jacoby Brissett. I wish he was gone, but at the same time, there's just so many variables that go into this situation where the more and more time ticks on, and Tallman touched on a lot of them, they need to get it done. He needs to be back. He needs to be the starting quarterback week 1 for this team. Obviously, you talk about a first-time head coach and Mike LaFleur. If you're putting somebody who showed last year within the time frame of given opportunities to start was even worse than Jacoby Brissett when you talk about Gardner Minshew, I don't think he's turning the time around and has never shown that he was a better quarterback than Jacoby, I don't think at any point, other than maybe the one season when he was with the Colts, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, Jacoby Brissett kind of sets that foundation of somebody who has been there, helmed an offense. Obviously, it's going to change under LaFleur, but has worked with these weapons and has to kind of show the way from our high-profile first-round pick, Jeremiah Love, some consistency at the quarterback, performance-wise, to the point where it's just going to be hard to trust either Gardner Minshew, and definitely Carson Beck, I don't think should be starting week 1 for this team at all. He needs a little bit more time to get his feet wet. And then earlier, rather than not, get into the fold to see if he is truly the future of this team. But, other things that you talked about as well, with the viewpoint, not only from your veterans or your stars in the locker room right now, but others around the league. How do you think this puts the organization of the Arizona Cardinals as a whole in the viewpoint of future free agents? You've already had a scuttlebutt of a contract situation a few years back with the guy who was making comments about Jacoby Brissett in Budda Baker himself. But now they're talking about this is the worst quarterback room in the NFL, and the one guy who truly probably is the best in the room, the Cardinals don't even want to pay him $12 million just to make sure they have something so they're not dead fish in the water week after week through the first 11 weeks. There's just so many problems with the Arizona Cardinals, but I was hoping that things would get resolved faster than this, because like you said, training camp is in 10 days. It literally starts in 10 days for this team, because then they got to be getting on a plane to Canton and playing in front of a national stage for the only time this year. And if they look like laughing stocks to start right there, you're going to lose not only any kind of interest from national media pundits, but you're going to lose even more interest from your fan base, which is already continuing to wane. So I'm with Budda Baker at this point, man. Just get it done. This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, get it out of the way. Because they say there's no such thing as bad press, but for the Cardinals, they've proven time and again that that's just not true. Like, through all the bad press, I feel like the fans' opinion of them has only gotten worse. And clearly the players don't think it's great either, because the report cards always have the Cardinals in the bottom, from the facilities being terrible to their treatment of players and families to these contract situations. I mean, when will Michael Bidwill learn? Probably never. And I was almost to the point the other day, guys, of like Googling like if there's a precedent for the NFL to force a sale just due to sheer incompetence of an owner. Cause like, I feel like we're getting close with Michael Bidwill. This team, with the whole Bidwill family, this team has never been successful. There've been a few like they went to the Super Bowl. Sure. They went to the Super Bowl. That's the most successful they've ever been. And they've never won it. Now you can say, I guess, the same thing about the Suns. They've been there 3 times, haven't won it, but they are consistently putting out a competitive product, or at least trying to, at least throughout my lifetime. And I think, go back to the 90s, 70s, like it's a different story with the Suns. Whereas the Cardinals, the last time they really found that true success was 09. And then you can talk about the playoffs we made with the Cliff, Kyler Murray stuff, but like that fizzled out and went nowhere. So fans are over it and they want a competitive football team. And if you want to build a fan base, that's how you do it. And you don't do it by having these nitpicky contract things. But another good way to build excitement for your fan base and help build that is by having a superstar player like a Trey McBride. And talked about him a little bit last week. He was making the podcast circuit, and now a story developing. I think it came out yesterday. It has been, I don't know if it's been revealed yet, Mike, but it's been reported, I think is the right word, that Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals tight end, is joining the very prestigious Madden 99 club, which means that in the video game Madden NFL 27, he will have a 99 overall rating, likely making him the highest rated tight end in the video game. I think that I saw within one of the articles that it's one of only 6 players, maybe less than 10 players, that get that 99 overall rating. Tallman, we'll kick it over to you first, as we know you're an avid gamer. What is this? What does this mean for Trey McBride, the Arizona Cardinals, and the fan base?
What does it mean for the fan base? Because he's rated high in a video game. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's showing him. It's showing the respect that he deserves, right? I mean, he showed that he is, the best tight end in the league, and he deserves this rating in a video game, as silly as that sounds. And I mean, it's something that these guys, these players, they look at, they joke about it with each other. Oh, I'm ranked higher than you, in Madden, whatever. So this is definitely a feather in his cap, I would say. And I'd love to see what the Cardinals overall team rating is. And, and then our best player being our tight end, number 9. I'm sure Jacoby Brissett's probably a 70 on that game, but no, I think it's cool. I mean, some of the other players that he's, in 99s with, you didn't say the names yet, right? No. Okay. So he joins Josh Allen, Jackson Smith, and then Jigba, Jamar Chase, Myles Garrett, of course. And then Matthew Stafford, which is crazy. Matthew Stafford, 99. His old ass. I don't know. I don't know.
Excuse me, Matthew Stafford, 99.
Matthew Stafford, 99.
That's what it's saying. That's insane.
Hey, that is impressive, though. 4 of the 6 players are in the NFC West, and one of them is on by far the worst team in that division. So that's a positive, at least. I will say, Trey McBride, it's always good to get those kind of recognitions, even in a video game, especially Madden, and the NFL and football fans will always have a tight connection, no matter how you feel about EA and their antics, right? But this is good for him to get this 99 because he needed to buy back some better will from the negativity that he brought to his name by calling Chandler, Arizona, the slums. So, this is a step in the right direction. I'm proud of Trey. And it does show game recognized game. Trey has absolutely balled out the past 2 seasons. It doesn't seem like he's going to slow down anytime soon. And he kind of is the epitome of a guy. I'm not putting him on the Larry Fitzgerald level just yet, obviously, but you can throw anybody out there at quarterback and he's going to produce because he's that great of a player. So it's a big positive. I love it. Absolutely.
Yeah. If nothing else, it's not a bad thing. And yes, Tallman, it's a little bit, I'll riddle you this. It is a little bit ridiculous to ask what it does for the fan base, but you get the Cardinals in the national headlines to some extent in a positive light. And so I think that is a good thing for the Valley and for the Arizona Cardinals, although we are definitely going to be the worst team in the division without a doubt and have one of the hardest schedules with no primetime games. It's just kind of tough, guys. It's just kind of a tough time to be on the Arizona Cardinals, let alone an Arizona Cardinals fan. But time will tell. I'm very excited next month to do our schedule predictions. I'm sure that'll be just a disaster. What you got, Tom?
Oh, that's next month. Fuck yeah. So back to his 99 rating, dude, he joins a short list in recent memory. I mean, other tight ends to be rated 99, Travis Kelce 6 times, Rob Gronkowski 3 times, Antonio Gates 3 times. And then recently, in the last 15, 20 years, that's it. And then Trey McBride. So it's pretty crazy.
That is crazy. And it's interesting that EA Sports and Madden are giving him that distinction of being the best in the video game. I was just curious. I had to look at we do Yahoo for our fantasy football. And so obviously there's a lot of comparisons with Brock Bowers. He's still the number one ranked tight end in fantasy from a draft position. But I know the point you're going to make. That's because his numbers could be better offense, better situation. So if you're looking at better quarterback, if you're looking at the individual potential versus actually what they're capable of doing, because tight end, like a receiver, is very dependent on the quarterback, getting them the football, the scheme, the touches. Although I would make an argument that depending on how good the Cardinals defense is, that offense could be on the field a lot. And you never know when Jacoby Brissett will throw 500 yards in garbage time. You just never know. And that'll be numbers for Trey McBride. So something to watch out for. But yeah, fellas, I feel like this was a good one. We got a lot of really exciting things coming up the rest of the summer. I mentioned next month doing our schedule prediction for the Cardinals. We're going to be doing our fantasy football draft next month as well. But we do, of course, still have to get through the rest of the month of July. Plenty of time to talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks and what the Suns are getting up to in the offseason. But gentlemen, I think this is where we should call it. As always, I will give you each the floor one last time to share your thoughts, feelings, tell the people what you got going on. So Tallman, we'll kick it to you first, man. What's up?
Oh yeah. So it's a fun night, guys. Always a pleasure, never a chore. You know that. Looking forward to this weekend because we talked about that baseball game, that series with the Cardinals, Dbacks Cardinals. And I'm pretty stoked to actually go to the game this weekend and see what kind of show I get to watch with my own eyes. So I'm positive this week. Shit might change next week. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen, right? But always fun, guys. Always fun. Thanks for having me.
Likewise. Yes, a week-to-week proposition with the Arizona Diamondbacks right now. Not going to get too high, not going to get too low. Right, Michael Benjamin? What you got going on, man?
I think I found my new tagline. It's going to be something like Mr. Haboob straight out the slums. You know what I'm saying? Had to get away out of Dodge because nobody can live in Chandler, Arizona, baby. I'm going to make a t-shirt that says straight out the slums of Chandler. Something like that. Well, we might work on it. And then, I'll be on the front row of red-white practice asking for Trey McBride to sign the back of the t-shirt. Because that's the only place I want to be going anytime soon. Okay, I'm just joking. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. I can't say never short because you already said it, Tallman. But yeah, I don't know. I might live stream the press conference next week because your boy has some PTO that he took for the birthday week. So I don't know. Or maybe I'll just hop on and give you my unfiltered thoughts right after it because I think it goes live at 3 p.m. So stay tuned. But appreciate you guys. Chris, take us home, man.
I like it, Mike. I fully endorse that. I know I'll be watching from my desk. I'll still be at work around 3:00, but very, very intrigued and can't wait to get back on here and talk about it after the interview. But yes, gentlemen, it has been a fun time. Always a privilege to get on here and talk with you guys, with my two best friends and the sports we love and here in the Valley. If anybody is still listening 73 minutes into our stream here live on YouTube, we thank you so much. We go live every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on our YouTube channel, Valley Sports Plug. You can also follow us at AZ_VSP on Instagram, X, TikTok, and so much more. You'll find all of our links down in the description below. And if you don't like YouTube and you just want to listen to the audio podcast, we put it up next day on all audio podcast platforms. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so much more. Like I said, all those links in the description below. If you Google Valley Sports Plug, you'll be sure to find us. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Wraps here. And for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there. Thanks for being with us tonight. And from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.